of the leader of the opposition in Port of Spain yesterday, where she was asked by media to give the government a grade as the UNC administration approaches 1 year in office. She issued a failing grade and scathing critique of the government's actions and inactions since assuming office following the April 28, 2025 general elections. Beckles pointed to violent crime and murders, saying the ongoing state of emergency was not showing an impact on crime. She said the government and the Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar had failed to adequately face the population on issues affecting the people. Beckles said Persad-Bissessar's government has promised jobs and housing but delivered firings instead. Stating that the UNC administration was yet to build a house, Beckles said there was yet to be an increase in employment opportunities. She recalled those fired from the Community-Based Environmental Protection and Enhancement Program, CPEP, and the Unemployment Relief Programs, URP. Beckles claimed that when visiting markets, vendors were saying their goods were spoiling and rotting as people were not buying. Lamenting the state of the economy, Beckles said businesses were folding, especially small and medium businesses. She recalled that Persad-Bissessar had bad-mouthed the former government's dragon gas deal with Venezuela, stating that the deal was now dead, and criticized the government for now saying it wanted its fair share from the deal, after Persad-Bissessar had called Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez a narco trafficker. Beckles called on the population to demand accountability from the government for its broken promises. The opposition leader said the UNC was preparing for its fete in Kufa tomorrow, that is today, to celebrate its first year in office. However, Beckles called on people not to be fooled. She said the government would attempt to tell the population that crime was down, that the construction sector was being revived, and that the things were happening in the energy sector. Instead, she said thousands had been fired and went on to call the government heartless and wicked. Beckles said in reality there had been a 41% decline in sales of cement and Tobago had seen increased unemployment, questioning what had become of the monies collected for the property tax under the previous government. She asked whether any citizens had been reimbursed as the UNC had claimed they would be. Beckles accused the UNC government of spending the past year marketing and lying while claiming that everything was good in Trinidad. She said the country was expecting a Christmas present from the government, which turned out to be tax, and more tax. She cited increased road fines as well as the landlord tax and increased duties on alcohol under this government. Beckles also questioned the government's policies towards education, including its digital push, which she said was not working for other countries. She said there had also been a public health sector crisis under the UNC government. There are very few, if anything, I can say that this government has succeeded at, Beckles stated. That's the end of the article. So 3 out of 10 is what the opposition leader, Penelope Beckles, is saying as a rating for the present government. And it's important to think about that. There are some people, as a matter of fact, who would have said, give them a chance. We still have some time. The time is still young. Give them a little time to figure out things. Is 1 year enough time to really give them a rating? Considering that they inherited, as they would say, they inherited some things. Structural changes needed to be made. There needed to be a thorough review and assessment of the economy that they were handed following their success at the general elections. You know, sometimes when parties win the elections, there's a massive celebration. We win, everybody's excited until they get to sit in the very seat that they criticize for the better part of 5 years. And so we look at the state of Trinidad and Tobago. Some people would say Well, nothing much is different because it was just as bad under the PNM. And then there are others who would say, well, at least things not the best, but we are seeing some improvements, and there are things that's helping to some extent. And then there are others who would say that it has gone from bad to worse. So what say you, members of the public? Now that we are approaching the 1 year mark of UNC's reign in Trinidad and Tobago as the government of the day, what say you? How do you feel about their performance so far? We are just about 4 minutes in, a couple minutes into the show, and there's a lot of room for discussion. If we were to start on the basis of crime, before I even get there, there was a plan that was presented to us earlier in the year, I believe, and there was a lot of hope given to the country that there's going to be opportunities for investment. We are trying to attract foreign investments, business opportunities, and people who would be willing to invest in Trinidad and Tobago's economy. We were presented a plan with businesses and hotels that will span along where the waterfront area would be, with this great expectation for Trinidad and Tobago to be the business hub of the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism would have put out on social media recently a call for people to come and get their maritime works done in terms of their boats at our shipping area, and highlighted that Trinidad and Tobago is essentially safe, not too much into the hurricane belt. And so with our history of not being hit with hurricane type conditions to the extent that our Caribbean brothers and sisters would have faced it, it makes us an ideal place to host those marine folks to come and fix their ship and so on, and to get that massive amount of business. So we are presenting ourselves to be business ready. However, what the rest of the world is seeing is an extended state of emergency, which is brought on by heinous crimes that's committed by citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. If you were to look at the news, just to get a simple impression of where Trinidad and Tobago is, the recent findings of the 56 bodies that were being attempted to be buried in a massive grave, when you compare that to the shooting, the killing of the police officer, and even in that circumstance, there are matters arising, that has some major questions of the trafficking or the movement of weaponry, the weapons that belong to our police service or municipal corporation. Those state-owned weapons are now in the hands, allegedly, of not so good persons, with senior people being sent on leave, which sends a hint to the leadership of our law enforcement agency. It sends a hint that we are not in a good place. And then when we turn on the next side, we are seeing what would have happened in terms of the shooting and killing of the occupants of that vehicle in Mova, and the subsequent killing of that 8-year-old child. So the rest of the world is seeing the picture. The rest of the world does not forget the situation that happened between the US and Venezuela, with Trinidad and Tobago being at the center of that situation. And with all of those things happening, we wonder, what exactly does the world see? We wonder what impression is being put out there about us as Trinidad and Tobago, the home of Carnival, the home of the greatest show on earth. And so, in terms of the performance of today's government, the question is being asked, are we satisfied with the performance of today's government? It's a fair question. We have wins, we have losses, we have things to be proud of, we have things that we are not so proud of. One particular area that we are definitely not proud of is the relationship that has been fractured with CARICOM. Our Caribbean brothers and sisters are not comfortable with us at this time, and it's a problem. It's a problem for us as we look at the ridicule that's happening with us. And we wonder, are we? How do we feel right now about this situation? So 1 year in office, April 28th, 2025 to April, where we are 4 days away from the official anniversary of the government in office. And, analysts actually say that it's still a bit difficult to fully judge the performance, because what we have before us are the details, the more current details that are not so good, so that it is only obvious the results will show a grim picture. The government is seen to some as moving from promises to delivery. We had yesterday, the Prime Minister announced that the construction of the Hilton Hotel in San Fernando is going to be taking place, where there's that attempt to decentralize business out of the Port of Spain area and throughout the other parts of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, that makes for jobs there, because in the midst of this, Hilton has said to us they want to close where they are in Port of Spain. They want to close that particular location. So is it an attempt to say, listen, keep the business with us, stay with us, and let's relocate you if where you are does not work. We're going to build something new. We're going to invest, and we do want that brand here. So the administration itself has framed 2026 as a year of real delivery, because 2025 was the year of cleaning up, assessment, review of where we are at, or where they were, having been handed an economy, having been handed the state of government sectors. So to some extent, we have reason to believe that this first year would have been one that allowed them to fully assess circumstances, fully assess where they are at financially, business-wise. And so it is expected that 2026 be the year for delivery. Are you confident that this is going to be that year? We have had thousands of people lose their jobs, and I'm going to go briefly to the debate they had today at the Parliament on the Retrenchment and Severance Benefits Act. Where the government, the opposition, PNM, was not necessarily in support of the RSBA bill that they were trying to bring. And one of the arguments that Mr. Faris Al-Rari raised today was that the government, so many people were put out of jobs, which breached one of the ILO conventions, is it 166, which speaks to that communication before a decision is made to retrench, and the conditions under which that retrenchment must happen. And so what he's saying is that so many people lost their jobs that the UNC did not honor the conventions which Trinidad and Tobago is part of, or follows, or is in line with. So with jobs lost and the economy under some challenges, with the threat of losing business to CARICOM, our CARICOM family, because of that geopolitics and taking of sides, where are we left? Can we confidently say to the rest of the world that we are performing well? Last time I spoke with you, I alluded to the fact that some people says they're mishearing as of midnight tonight. because the communication, it seems, with the current government is little to none. If persons aren't making riddles and rhymes and blowing air in bags and making comments that insults the intelligence of the rest of the public, if there isn't that, then, some people are concerned that they are not hearing sufficiently from the leader of this nation, except and outside of social media. So, year one wasn't necessarily about results for some people, or as supporters of the government would say, it was more about resettling. And the real test is whether that reset will become results. Jobs were over 20,000 jobs, I believe, were promised, and the intent was that we were going to advertise. There was a mass advertising of jobs, and people still lie in expectation, waiting to hear what is going to be the outcome of it. And as a matter of fact, I recall looking at one of the previous morning shows where the announcer would have asked, okay, seeing that you advertise these jobs, what is the tenure or the term looking like for these jobs? And it is only at that point in time, the minister, one of the ministers, I think is Dominic Smith, he would have said 3 months. So it's not even a fixed term 3 years. It's a short term arrangement. So people are looking at these things and they are wondering how effective is that, or was that advertising exercise for people who have lost their jobs? How effective was it for people who contracts came to an end and they weren't renewed, or whatever the situation would be? Now there's the economic management. There are some people that say the salaries, I think that came up on the news, salaries are staying a bit long. Sometimes in terms of the processing of salaries, there's challenges for people to get paid on time. So now what was once policy, or what was is not so close, now it has hit home. When you have reached to the place where your salary is not coming on time and your life is still moving forward, you still have your mortgage, your car note, your children to send to school, you still have your rent, you still have all of these activities that are happening, but changes in the system are not necessarily allowing you to be as comfortable as you would have been before. So that, they've introduced a new fiscal agenda focused on economic fairness and stability. They have looked at multiple tax and fiscal measures early in the office, in their office time. Tax, I remember Ask the Tax. I remember the comments towards the People's National Movement about everything is tax, tax, and more tax. And now we find ourselves in a situation where taxes have increased because there's now a reality or a realistic view of what the public purse is looking like. And having removed the revenue division office, you have to find ways to acquire said revenue. So while you remove the property tax, you find another way for that to happen. For example, tickets. For example, other government services that have seen a massive increase in terms of fees, including licensing, including travel documentation. We are seeing a rise in all of these costs because now you have to make up for that. Not to mention the crises in terms of our public health sector and the threats of protests, silent protests, and all of these things, which interrupt the services being provided to our nation's citizens who cannot afford private care. So who is this benefiting? If we really were to think about it, who is it benefiting? We have 2 minutes and 54 seconds on the clock before we go over to the final hour. And so I want to, with this backdrop, I want to engage that conversation. How are you feeling? Now, obviously, we are seeing a lot of negative at this time. However, timing has nothing to do with the year or the anniversary celebrations that is approaching, which will incur a celebration of 1 year in office. Is there anything to celebrate? Some people say yes, and some people say no. Because it is not easy to offer yourself up for government. It is not easy to face the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is not easy at all. However, can we look at this objectively enough to say, yes, there's been some performance for XYZ reasons, or no, we are not satisfied with the performance for XYZ reason. This is not a conversation to bash. It is one that we look at the facts and not opinions. So I would be happy to entertain your conversation, respectful, noting that there is no room for disrespect of the administration. You state your point, you give your evidence, and you come to your conclusion, and we will be happy to receive that. But in this vein, are you comfortable? Can you say that we have had a successful year? Do you believe that 2026 is going to be the year of delivery? Are we looking forward to more things coming along? There's some movement in terms of the education system. We are seeing where they are bringing about the technology and using that in place of textbooks. Parents, how do you feel about the technology providing that as textbooks for your children? Are you comfortable with that option? Is it easier on the pocket to utilize soft copy documentation for your children or textbooks? How does that work? Does everyone have those resources in 2026? Does everyone have internet? Does everyone have the ability for their students to study on a laptop or desktop? Yeah, so all of these things are what we put into consideration. This is what we want to talk about, all of this and more, when we return in the final hour of the program. But let's get moving. Let's talk about this. What do you think the performance is like? You have some time to think about it before we come back on the next side of the hour. I'm Samoya, and thank you for joining me. See you next side of the hour. We'll be right back for more.
To you in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is Redemption Hour, a gospel program where God will reveal His mind to you on how to live a fulfilled life and to please Him in all areas. Join Pastor Femi Afolabi, the National Overseer of Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Trinidad and Tobago, and other seasoned ministers for a time of divine encounter as they minister and pray for you every Saturday by 9 o'clock in the morning of this station, Street FM 91.9. Our church is Deeper Life Bible Church, number 1 Cochrane Street, opposite Tunapuna Police Station, Tunapuna. The times of our services are as follows: Sunday worship service, 9 a.m., Monday Bible study, 6 p.m., Thursday revival hour, 6 p.m. The redemption hour is a life-changing moment you cannot afford to miss. For special prayer or counseling, contact Pastor Femi Afolabi on 778-9933. God bless you as you listen to this program. Jesus is Lord.
The Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has replaced excuses with results, and the proof is in the numbers. In just 9 short months, the state of emergency has delivered a historic 42% decline in violent crime. The murder rate has fallen from a horrific 623 murders in 2024 under the PNM to 369 lives lost in 2025. We are taking a holistic approach to crime with stronger border security, intelligence-based policing, and a police presence in schools. Things are changing, commitments are being fulfilled, and brighter days are ahead. This Saturday, we report to you on the progress we have made and the way forward. Join us at the Couva South Hall car park. Registration of delegates begins at 1 p.m. 37 years strong, working for you, delivering for our nation. We are the United National Congress. That was a paid political announcement.
On April 25th, gather around Team UNC for speeches on the state of the nation, including Prime Minister KPB 2.0.
The people of our country can be assured that assets that belong to them are now being managed in a manner to bring the greatest returns to our country and our citizens.
37 years of party, 1 year in government. Congress 26 from the Couva South Hall car park, Saturday, April 25th at 2 p.m. Live coverage on this station and all streaming platforms.
Better days are coming. Better days ahead.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause you don't know we were the crown.
It's a big D.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front.
Big D.
We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we hold our vibe, and let we join together, because KFC is life. It's a big D.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front.
Big D.
We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Big D.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations, Wilson Road, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chagonas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
Friday is for feasting. Fantastic Fridays. 5 pieces of chicken and 3 sides for just $89.95. Big value for the whole lime. Weekends start right. It must be KFC. Order now. Follow KFC Trinidad and Tobago WhatsApp channel for all the deals.
It's a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make it like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
On the performance of the United National Congress as they approach 1 year in office. We were speaking about economic management, in terms of the direction, what has been done thus far. We have seen, of course, we've seen some things that stretched us as a nation, because, of course, the funding has to be made. The income still has to be made if we cut certain aspects of it. And so we turn our attention to crime and national security, the most pressing matter on the agenda at this time. And this is currently the strongest lens through which performance is being judged, if we are being fair. The country remains under a state of emergency due to violent crimes, and international advisories highlight ongoing safety concerns and crime risks in Trinidad and Tobago. And the recent disturbing incidents force public anxiety and governance scrutiny. So, as a reality check, when we look at those things, we see that crime has not been decisively reduced. This weakens the overall performance perception. And earlier there was an ad playing where they intend to this week give us that report on their successes, the milestones that they would have met, and they started to give some numbers in terms of the reduction of crime. And I mean, statistics, we've spoken about that on this program. Statistics is one thing if you are looking at data compared to years past, but the perception does not change in the nation as we face the current realities. As a matter of fact, I've seen today where persons are calling for the return of Mr. Gary Griffith. People are calling for his return. Do you think that the government of the day should humble themselves and reach out to Mr. Gary Griffith, who the citizenry deem to be the only person giving the performance, who would have given in the past the performance that we were looking for, at least to some measure, giving some measure of comfort that efforts are being put in place to save the nation? That's another question for you. Do you think they should give consideration to that? Or what do you think is the reason why he has not been called upon to provide that support? If we were to look at political enemies, we saw where Watson Duke was given that opportunity to serve in the WASA environment as an IR consultant and providing that industrial relations technical support as they transition and they navigate their staffing challenges. So the question is, can you do the same, or can they do the same for Mr. Gary Griffith, seeing that he was the one that really performed to the extent that the public had some confidence in him? Let me take this call. Good evening. Welcome to you. Good evening and welcome. Just hold on. For some reason, I'm not hearing you. Just stay on the line. Let me just see what's happening here. All right. Just stay on the line, caller. Just stay on. The director is giving me a hand here. All right.
Hello.
Okay. What's here? Yeah. Hello. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Ah,
yes.
Nice. I am hearing you. Thank you for holding on with me, man. All right. Go right ahead. Hello. Okay, like you cut off. Okay, here's what. Call me back. All right. So the numbers to call 342-0081 and 466-5391. So let's see. I'll be happy to take your call. Let me go again. 342-0081, 466-5391. I'll be happy to take your call in a little while. when you call, I will just put it on speaker. Yeah. So, yes, we are continuing talking about the persons that can really make that impact and give that assistance to the nation as we would require. So, there again, some people believe that Gary Griffith is the man with the plan. The UNC government is expected over the weekend to share with us what their plans are with regard to how they are going to treat with crime and other areas. Of course, where crime is concerned, they cannot give too much detail, and that's fair enough. But giving the citizenry some comfort that things will be well. So caller, if you are hearing me, you can feel free to call back and let's hear your contribution. So really and truly, no matter how you fix the economy, if people don't feel safe, they won't feel much of that progress. Because again, Hilton was planning to leave. We don't know if that is still happening. But our Prime Minister came and she said to us that works are in place to bring the Hilton Hotel to San Fernando. And talking to some people on the ground today, I realized that San Fernando is doing quite well. And, there's a lot of improvement now compared to over the years in terms of their business infrastructure and so on. So activity is happening slowly but surely. Activity is happening. Let me take this call. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, my sister.
Hello, welcome.
Nice to hear your voice, man. Nice to hear your voice.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I hold the government for a year.
Yes.
I give them 0.
Okay.
0%.
Tell us why.
In my mind, they have not performed.
Mm-hmm.
I know it. A lot of people saying it's only a year. It's only a year. You know why? When I started failing this government, you see, when they came into power in less than 5 months,
mm-hmm.
they fired over 80,000 workers.
Wow.
Right? And at a time when school was just at the brink of being open, so you have parents that was to get school books and uniform as the case may be. Christmas around the corner.
Yes.
And you let go over 80,000 workers. Failure. Right? So all the working up to the elections and the talking when UNC win, everybody win. Big lie. Certain people alone winning, others not. And you see, when you are showing that you have no regard for children and for mothers, a lot of these people that were fired were single mothers.
Yeah.
Single mothers. And you saw no kind of comfort, you only make promise that somewhere down the road you go open up something for you, and a whole year pass. Nothing. So my dear, I will give this government 0, a big one too.
Oh boy.
Only talk, my dear. PNM, the PNM. That is all you're getting from this government. That is all. A set of talk, a set of promises. Now look, for instance, and lies. They said a former delegation will go to Venezuela. Our Prime Minister said she going there to get her share. And when the question is asked, but who only talking to in Venezuela? They're not talking to nobody. They're definitely not talking to DLC, the person who they're really supposed to be talking to. Look at this thing, this other thing with the $3.4 billion that was stopped on the HGC. Billions of dollars, my dear.
Yes.
So all I am seeing from this government is talk about the past government, people being fired right, left, helter-skelter, and then with this thing that are coming on with replacing the NCC to bring in their own web organization. There is another set of people on the bread line. They don't care. As far as I am concerned, that is me.
Yeah.
I am only hearing talk from this government. Talk. But to say like seeing about the needy and helping those who cannot help themselves, no, my sister. So I end on that. I give them a 0, a big 1 too.
Okay.
How about that, my sister?
Thank you very much. All right. Now, again, you're coming with the facts and the information that is available to you. So this person was able to share from his perspective based on the things that he saw happening. Let's try again. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, I'm hearing you well. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I had to wait until somebody else called in. I felt you were having a problem with the line.
Yes.
So I'm glad that it was cleared up. So I'll probably share a little bit right now.
Go ahead. That's okay.
I don't know. The review of this government for the last year, I know it will have many people who will support them.
Yes.
But I'm not one of them who pleased with the last couple months as they govern Trinidad under the executive arm. The caller before mentioned about thousands of people that was let go under the URP, CPEP, and all the other little programs. But, you know, you're not seeing the results of it. I think the country has to actually see where, when they did that, the actual effects of it in the economy must be felt. Who are those thousands of people that was let go at the bottom of the economic ladder that the UNC promised to take care of while on the campaign trail? Because that is what one of the things was. A, we're looking after the people at the lower end of the economic ladder. And we're going to try our best to keep them. Yet when they went into power, they get rid of so many of the people at the lower end of the economic ladder. But the thousands that have been let go, you're not able to really see the effects of it in the economy and the day-to-day life of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I think there's a group of us still nicely insulated from that. There is people feeling the pain of it because they would have been in it exact. So they know what they face. But for the country itself, I don't think the country is seeing the effects of those thousands of people who was let go. Right? And I'm thinking that's probably one of the reasons why they could still get on our platform tomorrow and will put to the country a lot of untruths that they could get away with, as we see. Right? They would have to put forward their side to make it look like they're doing positive things for the country and wherever and wherever. But they have people living here that feeling the reality of some of the decisions that they would have made that impact them negatively. They feeling that pain. And somehow they are not able to have a voice so that the other part of the society could actually identify with what it is they are going through. That group of people still hidden somewhere in our society. And until somebody could do some serious research and examine URP workers, CPEP workers, who are they, how they're living now, what they're doing, how they're surviving in this economy, until somebody could actually do some sort of deep research into that and bring the facts to the society that, listen, thousands of people lost their jobs and they're feeling discomfort, pain, until somebody could actually bring that to the forefront. I think some of the lies that they're going to present tomorrow on that platform, a portion of their supporters, hardcore supporters, will go along with it. And then our next portion will say, well, everything nice, everything good going on in Trinidad. It is a real situation we're facing as a society. where persons, look, today is supposed to be the fourth Friday, right?
Right.
And today supposed to be the opposition having an opportunity in the parliament to bring forth issues to be discussed in the parliament for the population to examine, those who look at parliament. They're not getting that chance today. The decision is made not to give the opposition the opportunity today. So who will correct that? Who will address that? So that the executive knows that on a fourth Friday of every month, it is a law that the opposition is to bring forward certain issues in the parliament. And you cannot just disregard it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to address that? And then they're going to go on the platform and talk about good governance tomorrow, when they know full well today they deprive the opposition of having to bring forth issues that will possibly would have put some sort of damper on their celebration tomorrow. That's what we're facing right now.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, sister.
Thank you.
Continue to have your evening.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
the
much.
evening.
I appreciate your commentary. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So we're hearing different. We have two similar views at this time, expressing dissatisfaction in some measure. I would be happy to also hear the perspective of those persons who believe that the government is doing quite well. And of course, I would love for you to present your side in terms of the information. Let's get the information coming in. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Miss Moya, and good afternoon, dear listeners.
Yes.
You know, when we look at rating this government, we could take two approaches.
Yes.
Either start from 0 and see what they got points on, or start from 10 and see what they lost points at.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start from 10 this evening, right?
Right.
And point out where I believe they lost points.
Mm-hmm.
The radar and the lies they told surrounding it. That is 1 point gone, right? After demonizing the SOE, coming and using it as your only tool for fighting crime. You still here with me?
Yes, I'm there. Go ahead.
Right. So the SOE gone. That is 2 points. The diplomatic channels, the way that we communicate without any diplomacy, that is another point gone. The way in which we treated with the CPF matter, where Peter have to pay for Paul, that is our next point gone. Oh gosh, this latest statement from Mr. Maraj on removing the subsidy.
Or for the Tobago flights.
Yeah. The statement of $1,000 is nothing. Our next point gone because it shows that you're out of touch too with the persons in society who cannot afford that. Right? What else would they have lost points for? I've taken away 2 points, for one for each Alexander.
Odd.
Right? So one for Philip and one for Roger. Right? Just the mere fact that you make these ministers and they continue to be ministers up to today with their behavior are taken away 2 points. So I reach down to 3 just like where Penelope would have given to them, Because the things that this government is losing points for, they have no business losing points for it. Right? Some of the points your loss is unprovoked. You come like you hit your wicket. Nobody in bowler, you just hit your wicket. It's not easy. It's not easy, Simoya. It's really not easy. But I don't have. I'm recollecting everything right now. But
yes.
They're really not doing the job that they promised to do on the campaign trail. That is not what we see it. That is not what we see it. It have some people will give them a passing grade regardless of what. But I am not of that ilk. So That will not be my rating for them. They have failed because simple as you demonize the traffic fines, you come and raise it exponentially. You understand? It have better ways to treat with what is going on.
Yeah.
They're just doing anything because something has to be done. Not understanding you have to do the right thing to get the right results.
Yes. Yes.
Let me allow somebody else.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Caller 37, you were calling earlier. Feel free to call back. And people are sharing what their concerns. Let's take this one. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon and very good points by both of the callers so far that I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you for the caller before this one, is that the people not hiding, the people come out and they say they don't want PNM and they don't want UNC either.
Yeah.
You understand? Because there's so many people that lost their TV and different things. People were working and take out things on terms and things like that. And the things were repossessed by the various businesses and so on. And it's a shame to see. I mean, their salary was running in they're getting a salary every month, and this is what they fail to realize. If it is that had corrupted contractors, cut off the contractors and keep the workers going. I just see what was the big maths in that. You understand? You know, and then next thing I want to add to, with the calypsos, right?
Yes.
Just Dr. Hollis Liverpool, to be correct, said give a very good release and they ignore it because the people who are judging the Calypsonians are not experienced enough to be judging Calypsonians. You understand? And you have a man with his doctorate in that, and yet you are not utilizing this man to get a good committee with fair judging and so on. And Calypso was always about some like it or lump it. You understand? Calypso was always based on what is going on in the country. You understand? And he's just sing it in a kind of picong. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's Calypso. So I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of things. Okay, look like with the radar. You said it's because of the drugs and the guns between Venezuela and Trinidad. You could kill a man now and the next over here down in Venezuela. Where the surveillance going? It was just a remote building with a big one, just a remote building. And the lies are so that in the state to be a politician. They are liars. You understand? And it really seems so. So, I mean, their salaries are coming, but the countries don't feel bad with them. And realizing so many people put up a job and much really make the effort come out, go and reapply to and hopefully got them. Plenty people went, right? But how much got employment? You see a few little gangs here and a few little gangs here. You know it can happen one time. With a year gone, and people have nothing to eat. You understand? There's so many people asking for little help and thank God for the people who helping them. You understand? And, you know, it's such a shame as well to host people, right, who eat enough food, swing right around, and don't seem to be talking, especially a prominent brother from Lavanti who runs a program, right? You know, to see that the mouth full and they seem to be ignoring the facts that really going on and just highlighting other things that's going on.
Yes.
You understand? But anyway, you all keep the good work.
Yes,
right?
thank you.
And keep the program going and thank God for this station, especially in the morning too. One of the best shows in the morning as well.
Thank you.
Right? Take care and all the best.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon and welcome. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, Simoya.
Hi, how are you going?
You're
look wonderful this afternoon. Yeah, Coco brown, everything matching. You brown, hair brown, jacket brown. Keep it up. I like this smile.
Thank
Call
you
her
very
come out the
much.
basement now, man. The way I gonna man. Shoo. But
What you think? Tell me.
let me be real. Man. I love the Honorable Prime Minister.
Right.
Right? I know she have good intention for this country. But it has to have rats and snakes and roaches wrong she.
Okay.
Some ministers, they come in for the political games, for their friends and family, and fill in the pockets. Because I from the East-West corridor, right? But I moved from the East-West corridor.
Okay.
I live in a East Indian community.
Okay.
But here what I watch. For all the years, he planned them in East-West corridor, right? Yes. Constant voting the PNM. We see no kind of development, no kind of proper schools, proper roads. The Kiscott, that was my former MP.
Okay.
Piccadilly School down there for the last 9 years. They didn't fix that school, the proper big fence. I set that grass, cowl, kind of thing. When they were rolling, go to outside in the back there.
Right.
But I see the fire steep, the stop CPAP, URP, and forestry, right? They state that corruption in it. The whole all the big players, the whole crow, the whole redfish. But all they get rid of the big players, so I'm saying these small fries and them who on the ground. So we have to, so these small fries to suffer for them. The same way they can get rid of them, they can bring in the people on them and hire back people on them. And give them the jobs, and because they're telling them to go up online, apply for the work. So last time I applied for work, the call who they want to call out, and handpicking who they handpicking and all them kind of thing. You know, the time they was calling me for the last 9 years, giving me that support. Already KFC doing a good job, there's that thing in there. We have some political meeting the 3 night day. They call me now and say KFC. Look at the job and this and that. Nothing at all. Apply again, you know.
Yeah, okay.
You know, people ain't getting paid right now, back channel on social media and thing, you know. People also get paid today, ain't get paid, you know.
Wow.
But them politicians getting paid mountain coming here, though.
So your issue here,
So I
you appreciate the Prime Minister, you're just saying the people are wronged, is, you know, is where the challenge is coming for you.
Yeah, they were going on to tap plenty young ministers who come in the party, they know nothing about politics, they're not dealing with the poor and the ground and the underprivileged. Yeah, what they do now in social development. First, the wicked and evil. That man who the Ram trying to put on secretary out social development. When the former region was there, right, you do a MIMS test, right? Right, you do a MIMS test. So you go, you get a food card. When you go back again, you get a food card. You don't know the test now. So they will get 3 food cards after they go tell you to apply for a permanent food card. That man cut out that. So every time you go by the social development, you tell me applying over a right show. You know they stop that? They say no, they're giving the permanent food care. Since last year, November, I set up for food care. They come home here, they watch to see if I have about 5 TV or 5 bed. You know they call me, that's April, about 800 eyeballs, they call me, you know they tell me, and I bring back the documents to apply back again. You need to tell you, man, Hall.
Oh boy.
Because I papi shooting.
I understand.
Why I have so much I think to say, but too much unjust and wicked, but I like in you and see the work for the people and the black people that open eyes and see PN around this country for years.
Yeah.
And they don't uplift the people. Let it be real. Right now, they have a big contract going on in the back here. You know in charge of that? They bring that man that contract. He bring in all the big equipment. Only can bring the corporation just to put on the material to mix on the ground, and they come and they rip it out. And of course, on a contractor today this morning in the backyard, so solar, they were going on. All they coming and doing contract work, and all that hiring 2-3 people who in the community. I said some of them beat them still at all the place, and them they run all there.
But me promoting of violence, but you must have somebody in the community, you understand?
Okay. All right.
So
Well,
that we're
thank
going
you
on
for
right
that
now.
feedback.
I will give them all the time again, but you see some of them and I saw them get rid of them.
All right, but fair for you. All right. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, Simoy. I now see an article coming up that the state will now have to pay about 4 million for the matter that happened in Mova about 8 years ago with the shooting of the young men and them.
Yes.
I'm really happy that the courts got it right,
Yeah.
But I'm sad that once again, we as a nation have to pay for the bad choices made by people who we pay.
Yeah.
And ask them to take an oath to carry about themselves in a certain manner. And I just thinking, imagine if this judge who presided over this matter would have seen things in the way that Guevara did see things, where you could give a totally contrary narrative, opposite from what actually is seen on footage.
Yes.
That's it. I'm really happy that the judge got it right on this occasion, because sometimes them and all this mess up and get it wrong. I'm still trying to understand how notification and consultation is the same thing. Because in here in Trinidad, one judge found that just notifying somebody is sufficient when the law outlines that you have to consult with the person.
Yeah.
Consult don't mean that you go along with the advice you receive, or you lean to the sentiments of the person that you're consulted with, but it means that you have to have meaningful engagement.
Yes.
It's not just about I send you a letter and that is consultation. It is not.
That is notice.
And the dictionary is clear on that part. But we still have persons who are in positions that doesn't understand that words actually have meaning.
Yes.
I love to understand.
Thank you. All right. We had some callers who were trying to call in earlier. Now is your time. Feel free to do so. So we are hearing some people just sharing their thoughts and opinions on the performance of the government. Let's take this next call. Good evening. Good
Hello?
evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi. Yes, go ahead.
I'm not gonna read them today.
All right.
Okay, what happened? No, I'm living right next to the place where they having the bacchanal tomorrow.
Oh boy.
If I sneeze, they'll hear me. I will sit down. I know it's no comment on nothing. I'm sitting down and I'm listening to what they have to say.
Yes.
And Monday evening, if God stay alive, I won't call him.
Very good. We'll be looking forward for that.
You understand?
We look forward
I could tell you I read them right now, but I want to wait.
to hear what they have to say first. Yeah.
I want to see bold-facedness and stupidity rule them. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Have a nice evening, miss.
Thank
See
you.
what is your name?
All right.
Yeah. Have a nice evening.
Same to you. Right. All right. So we have some people who want to wait a little bit just to hear their report. But for those of you who want to share your points, I would love to hear what you have to say. For those people who feel positively about the performance of the government, I would love to hear from you as well, because you will have to share with us, what are some of the successes, what you think about some of the things that people are criticizing at this time. How are you seeing it as a success? We'd love to get that balanced view in terms of the supporters of the government who are comfortable amidst all that's happening. It's great to have that perspective as well, to also enlighten us and educate us where we may be missing some things. So far, most people have expressed dissatisfaction with what is happening in terms of the governance, in terms of national security, regional and international relations, promises that were made. Some people I haven't heard much comments about the advancements that were made thus far. Some people feel it's not as significant. And so, opposition criticism remains strong, unfortunately, especially in terms of the economic plans and execution. And so the question is not just what policies exist, but whether the citizens trust how they are being implemented. As we are being told, some things can be revealed, some things can't be revealed. People are feeling the pinch in their purses because we are now without jobs. Many persons are without jobs. Thousands of persons are unemployed. I saw recently, now this is something, in all fairness, it happens under every change of government. The housing community in Arima, terrestrial lands. I recently saw an article where the houses were being, for lack of a better word, broken into, and thieves were stealing the materials. And that project, if you remember, was halted because the contractor did not build it to the expectation in terms of the building codes and standards, the safety standards, and so they were placed on hold. So many people were, expecting to be issued their keys. And instead of being issued keys, they were put on pause. So what happens to those persons who were assigned to terrestrial and then being told something else? Now that it's being vandalized or broken into, what happens then? Because that is millions or billions of dollars in investments going to the drain. So we are looking at that situation where, once again, government infrastructure that money was spent for, regardless of the administration, that money is unfortunately lost. And there is no repercussion. There is no one to be held accountable in this time. So 1 year into the government, and we are seeing many things. Should worker protection come before business flexibility? Will law protect jobs or reduce job creation? Is this reform overdue or is poorly timed? How do we feel about those things? And again, speaking of employees, today we had a debate looking at the Retrenchment and Severance Benefits Act and the reform of the same. And that question remains, what is happening if, we are pressed basically on every side? Once you lose your jobs, once you lose business opportunities, once you lose that opportunity to make income, and then your housing, all of these things come under pressure. Are we doing things in a way that protects the citizens across the board? Is there any sector or section of the society that can comfortably say that we are untouched, we are unaffected in some way, form, or fashion? Even when you go to the education system, we've had some recent challenges with anxiety and the students, some students taking their own lives with the pressure. We have an issue of bullying that is still taking place, and we want to know all these measures that were put in place. Is it that the measures aren't working? Is it time for us to bring in specialists who can help in some way, some form, or some fashion? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Those of you who are impressed at this time with the performance of the government, now is a great time to share that with us and say why. Are you looking more on the positives rather than the negatives? You're looking at the possibility of foreign investments and, the partnerships that we want to have outside of the Caribbean region, because that's another thing. That's another thing that was alluded to in terms of not too much concern for regional relations. Let's take this call. Good evening and welcome.
Yes, no.
Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Simoya.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
I know that the people who listening, who cutting our tape, I'm listening to the ministers and them. So all who listening, listen to this. Simoya paying a fee in the back here for grass cutting. About 7 months now, the grass ain't get cut. Every day, they buying $3-4 a cocktail. The rainy season approaching, the grass red eye. and they take out my money every fortnight for that service there.
That's what HCC.
So I want to know what's going on with that service, if they scrap that service. And I was working for a former contractor who was, they say he was a big boy in the P&M. When I come across there, he gave me some work to watchman at Berlin. About 7 fortnight now, the man didn't pay me. You going to tell me about the company working for the housing, they ain't paying him. But I see people getting contracts. So why they not paying the contractors and them to pay the workers and them?
Okay.
Well, today I call a brethren today and he give me direction with the man living sometime I go pay my visit. I go in there and make a set a scene. Because they're not paying the people and them.
Yeah.
I don't care if you UNC pay you, you have to find money because you make money for the last 9 years plus.
Yes.
You was a big player with the P&M, so you suffered me. The government suffered me. I sign up for work. Me ain't getting through. I go now, they going by MP knocking on doors and there's pro victimization, they blame black smoking me. They tell 3 ministers, I will come out and let the nation know who playing a part by victimization thing. But the more I go down there and see the boss lady and talk to she, I better to them and then when I get to a big, what's up, get up walking with me, going by the office, when the game I set up promises, and they said that with 2 children. When we look for the handouts, the same way see more, they could call Harry, they could call John, and give them work speed and fast. They're not doing that. And I go in by them, I can't remember this, that thing, and I meet them ministers all over the along by the parliament. When I have in parliament, I give them things, and they're not even giving me a call. I have 12 ministers now on my phone. All of them block, you know. They're like, I one thing with politicians I realize, you know other thing through social development. My former MP give me a letter to drop it by Donna Cox was the minister. But I so lucky with a young lady. I was talking to she, oops, Donna Cox come out of the office. I talking to she, I show she my politician about the car that and approve thing and there. She said she just upset to give me a big bag of hamper. When I call her, she know she not sign the phone anymore again. Because she was in power. You know, I will show her power. I just see the number there and calling so fast she answer. I say, remember me? All the wicked politicians. Because you're out of office now, you answer fast and speed. All politicians in office to the answer, yeah, again, you know, as Crow say. Bless.
Thank you, KFC. Thank you. All right. So, and those are the feelings. Those are the general feelings. I was really hoping to get someone who is in support because, again, we want to have a balanced conversation. A lot of the comments we make is especially because we are seeing things before us right now. Let me just take this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome.
My sister, let me tell you something. If I was listening to Mr. Barataria calling and buying him, I always like to hear his contribution.
Yeah, he hasn't called.
Yeah, I like to hear him. Anyhow, my sister, if I was the UNC, you see that thing tomorrow they're having there with this celebration thing, I would have cancelled out. If they have a heart, with all the murders that taking place in this country and with all these people I don't see nothing to celebrate, you know. What are they going to celebrate? Look at the condition of this country. Look at the unemployment rate. Look at the economy. I laughed lunchtime, my sister, when I saw Mr. Munilal coming down on the trade minister. That is concerning the car with the moving away of the subsidy from the airline.
Right.
He says that the Minister of Trade says that $1,000 more they will have to pay. And Munilal is on news saying he don't know where the Minister of Trade get that from. The cabinet don't know nothing. The cabinet don't know anything about what he is talking about. And they are going to the other word was used, move, well, for want of a better word, move away from the statement that the trade minister made. I don't know where he get it from.
Whoa. Okay.
In other words, he and he own. And this is the kind of nonsense that we have for government today. That is what is going on in our country. Because when the Minister of Trade spoke, he spoke with confidence. You could have swear it was a cabinet decision.
Yeah.
Mr. Munila now had to come today to debunk what he has said, and in a kind of embarrassing language.
Wow. Okay.
Things happen in AGC. Mr. Lee, when you ask him questions, he don't know. He's saying he don't know. The chairman said some of the empty houses that some people are occupying, they can go ahead and occupy, but they just have to pay something. Mr. Lee is on record of saying, I don't know what you're talking about. So what's really going on, my sister? It's games these people are on, is Vikey. This government governing this country is Vikey.
Wow.
I don't know what they're celebrating tomorrow. I really don't know, because as far as I see, my sister, is more unemployment, is people on the breadline, and then you have ministers embarrassing people. You ask Mr. Anna Roberts yesterday, Akash asked him a question. He tell him to stay behind the bars and ball to the chunky and make a report. Come on!
Wow. Okay.
They're embarrassing you. You can't ask them a question. You can't approach them. It's embarrassment. Alexander blowing in plastic bag and telling you, get him empty that. It's embarrassment with them. No kind of moral, my sister. And this is what we have for governance. This is why I tell you, I give them a 0.
Right. I understand.
That is my contribution. They have nothing to celebrate tomorrow. Thank you, my sister.
All right. Mr. Barataria. Good afternoon, Barataria. The last caller called for you, and you answered.
I just tuned in and hear that gentleman. Yeah. And I've been asking myself for the past week, because there's only motive I have of calling. What actually is the UNC celebrating? So I took a drive around Trinidad and Tobago 2 days. Went all the way to Mayaro. I went all the way to Princess Town. I went to Point.
Right.
So, group of people on the highway doing what CPEP used to do. Man with a chainsaw. So my question is, and I've been asking, could anybody tell me which part I could go and apply for that job, Miss Samoya? Because for the man to buy 2 waka, to get a chainsaw, to go on the highway, somebody had to, I don't think the state buying that. So therefore, somebody had to be out of pocket for these tools to give these people to go and work. So anybody can tell me who the gang, who in charge of the gang? And next thing I observe, water, instead of we fix the problem of water, Miss Samoya, I drive down to Penal and the Prime Minister's constituency, and the water truck is making a huge killing down these areas, Miss Samoya.
Wow, okay.
So instead of we fix the problem of solving the water issue, we contract out a set of trucks to drive around and deliver water. So these community won't complain about water because trucks bring in water.
Right.
But if I stop the truck, they will have a problem. So I'm waiting to see what is Wasa wage bill at the end of this fiscal term.
Wow.
Next thing I observe, coming down from Trin City, coming down, is Carony Green, they used to call it?
I believe
Mr. Moya,
yeah.
just opposite Trin City.
Yeah.
Where they have the Panchen Bago supposed was to have their site.
Yes.
There's a piece of land there that they had considered Carony Green. Take a drive up there. It is cleaned up, Mr. Moya. So I have a group of people under the PNM, took a course, went to the Ministry of Agriculture, went to the university for 2 years, stayed in a program with the intention that they would get a piece of land and continue their 2 years of succession.
Yes.
I took away that to come with Carony Green. We know the state, anything the state has invested in doesn't make money. Yes. So I sent home 50,000 people to restart a state-funded farming program for who? When I already had in train A group of people went to the university, came out of the Ministry of Agriculture, and they were into homestead. I was giving them a piece of land, I was giving them a starter home, and a little funding to kick them off. And Miss Simoya?
Yes.
What is going on in my little island, Miss Simoya?
Oh, wow.
I have a minister. He's telling us he's going to give me the same position that the American government has to their citizens, that everybody who owns a property could have a firearm. Miss Simoya, when I listen to the former Minister of Finance, Mr. Imbut, when it comes to the property tax, he's saying there's more of them, meaning East Indian people have property than African people, they pay property tax and all of that, right?
Right.
So if it's the people who own properties getting firearm, me and you can't, do you own a property? I don't own any.
Oh,
so I can't get a firearm. I had an incident where a gentleman had 2 in his house. He bust off 2 shots against his wife, ting ting, and ganja moons. His wife get vexed and go in the bath, come back with 1 and shoot him dead. Boom. I miss him, yeah?
Wow.
But I wanted to become like America. So I saw they were making noise for a man who get locked up and get shipped back. You know this you see about, you see the lady from CARICOM about to resign, right?
Yes.
Miss Moya, enjoy you.
Oh boy. Wow. Thank you so much, Barataria. Well, we are down to the last minute and 37 seconds. I can probably entertain about 1 more call, but we've had people sharing their honest thoughts and opinions. And as I said, because we had a lot of negative things happening recently, of course, that is going to take the 4. Caller, we have just 1 minute. I'll take you.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Hear me.
Go ahead.
We have a conversation on what is good governance. You all could put that together sometime next week.
Absolutely. We're going to continue
to look at when coming to good governance.
Yes.
You have a good weekend, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Take care. Yes. Bye-bye.
So yes, and all of these things warrant that conversation, as the caller said, on what is good governance, because we have a fair idea of what shouldn't be happening. And again, in all fairness, it's easy to stay on the outside and talk, be the umpire and be the observer and speak about something. But when you are in the game, you are the one that feels the heat of things. So we wait and we observe to see what happens over this weekend. Let's get glued to the televisions and really pay attention to the presentation of the UNC as they're going to share with us their successes and what worked for them and their honest review of their performance. So I hope we be honest and let's just give that opportunity to hear the information in detail. You take your notes and we want to discuss this as we come back again on next week, please God. So you have listened to The Third Umpire. I'm Samoya Sandiford. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause you don't know we were the crown. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we hold our vibe, and let we join together, because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
On April 25th, gather around Team UNC